Here we are, a whole new world of Pokemon in the Hoenn region. The new theme, I want to be hero, I don't really like it. A kid from the best of me. I like the beginning of it, but when it gets to the chorus, it feels too digitized. And again, saying the name Pokemon Advanced in the thing, it just doesn't sound. Pokemon Advanced, yeah, I get why, like, you know, Pokemon Advanced, Game Boy Advanced. But why not Hoenn, you know, Pokemon Hoenn or Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, like the Japanese version called it? I swear to God, if the next one's called Pokemon DS, I quit. Alright, so that was the actual episode. It's an okay season premiere. To get it out of the way, Pikachu was healed from his sickness after Team Rocket inadvertently heal him through one of their robots. Cool. The important thing is, when Ash arrives in Little Root Town, we meet May, a new trainer just starting her journey, who seems to not really care for Pokemon all that much in general. Not that she hates them, she just doesn't really care about being a trainer. She does end up picking Torchic as her starter though. And we start a sort of tradition of Ash destroying a girl's bike, as Pikachu does so in this episode as well. And kinda similar to Misty, she guilt trips Ash into traveling with her for destroying her bike, at least for a little while. I'll talk about May later. For now, her intro was okay. I mean, we obviously still don't know that much about her, but, well, we're gonna have a couple hundred episodes to get to know her, so we can only wait and see.
Call out one of its attacks!
Okay, which is...
Just say use water gun now!
Got it. Use water gun. A ruin with a view!
Ash and May arrive in Oldale Town, and Ash registers for the Pokemon League. The important thing is, in this episode, we encounter Team Magma for the first time, who kidnap a researcher to, I don't know, get some ancient shit, and Team Rocket are assigned by Giovanni to establish a rocket branch in Hoenn and investigate Team Magma and Team Aqua. After all that, Ash and May head toward Petalburg City, where Ash finds out there is a gym there, but May doesn't seem too excited to go there for some reason. Again, this episode is mostly setting up future stuff, so it's fine. I do like Ash is finally showing some experience when he teaches May how to catch a Pokemon, when she does something similar to how he tried to catch a Pokemon the first time, with them just throwing a Pokeball and not really trying to weaken it.
First, you have to battle the Pokemon and weaken it, then you throw your Pokeball.
I like that. It's a great way to show how much more experienced Ash is now as a trainer, instead of him, you know, just saying it.
There's no place like Hoenn!
Arriving in Petalburg, Ash is surprised to find out that the gym leader, Norman, is May's dad, after he was tricked into thinking May's brother Max was the actual leader. Unfortunately, Ash needs 3 Pokemon to challenge the gym, so he settles for an unofficial battle with him. After some rocket stuff, Ash and May decide to continue traveling together, and Max joins them. I hate Max. Like, he is so fucking annoying. He's one of those kid characters who's kinda smart, so he acts like a dick to everybody if they show any sign of being a normal person.
If you had to do it over again, don't you think you would have used Charizard's attacks more effectively? If I'd have been in there, I would have won it. You've still got a long way to go.
Like, why do these green shirts keep ruining my Pokemon? Unlike Tracy, though, Max is here to stay for the whole Advanced series. Hooray.
You never can, Talo!
The gang are attacked by a group of Talo that they follow after one of them steals their food. Yeah, because remember, these are 3 kids that don't really know how to cook. Why would you send them off on a journey by themselves? Man, if only Brock were here.
Hey, it's Brock.
This is Brock?
Oh, he is. Yeah, Brock is back after fixing everything back at the pewter gym. And like Ash, he only brought 1 Pokemon for some reason with him, his Fortress. After that reunion, Ash is able to catch the Talo, making it his first Hoenn Pokemon. Good to see Brock back. Kinda makes the goodbye episode a little less impactful, but it's good to see him back.
Is it true what Ash told us about you, that you're a really good cook? Then how's about a little sample?
In the nicker of time, good thing I'm black, the gang encounter Nikolai, who loves knickers, good thing I'm black. I can't believe I'm reading this. He disguises himself like Pokemon because it's his kink. May has a battle with him, her first one, and loses, showing she's got a long way to go.
A poached ego!
Okay, look, I'm convinced Team Rocket are the best characters in this anime, because once again, they get a really good and emotional episode. When they find a group of caged Ekans and Coughing caught by a Pokemon poacher, Jessie and James realize that since they have an Arbok and Weezing, they clearly are not into this, so they decide to free them in a strange act of kindness from them. And after freeing them, they decide that for the Ekans and Coughings to be safe, their Pokemon have to stay and protect them. And in a really sad scene, Jessie, James, and Meowth stay behind, keeping the poacher busy, just getting the shit kicked out of them, while Arbok and Weezing run away, watching and crying. Damn, who's cutting onions, man? He's doing that. He's cutting onions. Brock, you cutting onions, bro? Eventually, the poacher is caught by the twerps and Officer Jenny. Who cares? At the end, though, James randomly catches a Cacnea. Cool. I guess they had to give him some Pokemon. But seriously, man, what is with Team Rocket getting the best episodes in terms of being about the feels? And I'm going to be honest, this was probably the saddest releasing of any Pokemon. Way better than any of Ash's. Banger episode.
You really think Arbok and Weezing will be alright, Jesse?
I hope so.
Trees, a crowd!
Ash finds a Trico that he wants to catch, but after seeing it trying to protect and heal a tree he calls his home, while the other Trico leave to find a new one, he decides to help it. Then after some rocket stuff, the Trico battles him and Ash gets his next Pokemon.
A tail with a twist!
During some training, a wild Seviper comes by and beats Ash's new Trico. Seeing this, Team Rocket want the Seviper for themselves, and they manage to do it, Jesse specifically. And with the new Pokemon, things are looking up until Trico's training gives him the upper hand, sending them blasting off again. So yeah, Jesse has a Seviper now. Cool. In Taming of the Shroomish... Oh god, it's a Max episode. Look, I'm gonna skip all Max episodes. I just don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't care what happens in them. I just truly cannot give a shit about these episodes. In You Said a Mouthful, the gang encounter a gym who has a Pelipper that can seem to use any move. Of course, it turns out to be fake, with the Pelipper using Pokemon that hides in its beak. In A Bite to Remember, May and Max learn about evolution thanks to a Poochyena. Another trope I'm starting to not really like is that the kids always seem to wander into some Pokemon preserve or some closed-off area.
This entire area is a Pokemon preserve.
Really? We're sorry we didn't know.
Which, why do these places not have gates or signs or anything that show them that you shouldn't be there? It's really their fault that people can just wander in.
The Lotad Lowdown!
Brock catches a Lotad.
All things bright and beautifly!
The group arrive near Rustboro City, where the next gym is, and meet Janet and Chaz, two Pokemon coordinators. Unlike trainers, coordinators enter Pokemon contests to earn ribbons that are less about battling and more about showing off their Pokemon's charm. They compete in them and eventually earn enough ribbons to enter the Grand Festival, the big tournament at the end. Then while the gang are too late to enter, Chaz It Up offers to teach Pikachu the Iron Tail move for Ash, and May helps Janet with her performance, seeming to be more interested in contests now. Oh yeah, and Jessie just randomly has a Hoenn contest pass. Yeah, she's just always had it and renews it, and now she competes in contests in disguise. That came out of nowhere. It was funny though. So May, from the start, is shown that she has no interest in training and being the best like no one ever was, and has been using the Pokemon journey thing as an excuse to just travel. This is the first time we see her interested in something like contests and having a new goal. I personally like this for her. I think it's cool to see someone in Pokemon world, like, not be so hot and forced to be kicked out of your house at 10 years old and go around catching and training wild animals. Her discovering contests felt kind of natural too, with her just seeing it and going, hey, that's cool. I want to do that, which is, how many passions start. But of course, this is just the introduction. We can only wait and see what they do with it, and hopefully it'll be pretty good.
All in a day's Wurmple!
Not only do we learn about double battles, the bane of my Pokemon Emerald playthrough, both May and Jessie catch a Wurmple that they both want to get after seeing Janet's Beautifly in the last episode. In Gonna Rule the School, the gang meet Roxanne, the first gym leader in Rustboro City, but have to wait since she's also a teacher and have to teach a class. So then Max, oh god no, it's a Secret Max episode, skip. In the winner by a nose pass, May announces that she wants to do contests instead of battles, and Pikachu masters the Iron Tail move just in time while fighting Roxanne's nose pass, winning Ash's first Hoenn badge. In Stairway to Devon, Max accidentally breaks the Pokénav. It's some game bullshit they stuck in the anime, it doesn't matter. He brings it to the company that makes it, which happens to be in Rustboro, so they can fix it. But a thief, supposedly from Team Aqua, steals some bullshit. So just like Max, I also don't care about the stuff that Team Magma and Team Aqua are doing. It's really dumb, and trust me, it doesn't really pay off, so kind of like Max episodes, I'm gonna kind of gloss over them. Especially like these ones where all three are combined. No thank you. In On a Wingull and a Prayer, what the fuck did I just say about Aqua? The gang rescue a captured Wingull from an Aqua grunt, and its owner, Mr. Briny, now takes them to Dewford Island, where the next gym is, and where the Devon Corporation's CEO from last episode's son, Steven, is. Moving on. In Sharpedo Attack, it's no longer safe to go back in the water. Is that the slogan? I've never actually seen Jaws. In Brave the Wave, the gang arrive on Dewford Island to meet Brawly, who...
Halo, not a bad choice against fighting types. I can take that strategy. Let's see if you can dig this!
Is the best character in all of Pokemon now, there's no debating it. And of course, being the best, he beats Ash in his gym battle, so now Ash has to train for a rematch like the scrub he is. I mean, come on man, no one can beat Sonic. In Which Wormhole's Which? Well, knowing Jesse and May have wormholes and the title, you can pretty much write this episode yourself.
A whole lot of trouble!
Alright, you know what, this episode was pretty funny, I liked it. Arriving at Granite Cave to find some amazing trainer, the twerps get caught in a Team Rocket trap, and then Team Rocket get caught in another hole around their trap, and all of them go falling down as the groups are mixed up with Ash, Brock, and James stuck together, Pikachu, Meowth, and Max, and then Jesse and May. And all the groups try to work together to find each other again. Oh yeah, and Steven, the champion of Hoenn, is there too. That's cool, I guess. Much like the Earth Ring episode, I love seeing Rocket Gang and the twerps mixed up and forced to work together. It just leads to some pretty funny interactions that we don't see normally, and the fact that they're technically enemies can make for some fun banter.
Not again! You!
Yeah, it's just a fun episode. I hope I don't get tired of the ones like these.
Gone core fishing!
When a mysterious Pokemon is going around causing trouble at the beach, the gang make attempts to find out what it is, and it's revealed to be a Corphish, which Ash catches to use for his rematch against Brawly.
A core fish out of water!
So this episode itself is about Ash trying to get Corphish to a Pokemon Center after he gets hurt during a Team Rocket scheme, but the reason I'm talking about it though, is that in it, May's Wurmple evolves into a Silcoon and Jessie's Wurmple evolves into a Cascoon. But she's delusional and thinks it's also a Silcoon because she wants a Beautifly, much to James and Meowth's dread when she eventually will find out that it isn't.
The Mudkip mission!
After being mistaken for trying to steal a Mudkip, seriously, you don't know how often these kids are accused of crimes in the beginning of episodes to start a conflict. I am leaving a lot of them out. They find a big Mudkip who is trying to protect all the little guys, and after stopping a Team Rocket plot, the Mudkip decides to go with Brock. Yes, Brock, the Rock Gym leader, now has 2 water types. I think the writers forgot what gym he runs. In turning over a new Nuzleaf, a group of Nuzleaf plan to burn all the twerps' Pokemon after a Corphish cuts one of the Nuzleaf's leaves off. Kind of an overreaction.
A 3-team scheme!
Okay, so this episode is nothing to me. It's just to show off that Team Magma and Aqua are doing more behind-the-scenes stuff, and both of them have the red and blue orb respectively. This is why I don't like these Aqua Magma parts. It's all very vague setup for what's going to be a few episodes of nothing, trust me. And if you play the games, you know pretty much what's happening. There's not really a surprise, which I'd assume most people watching the anime have done. Now let me be clear, I'm glad that they're setting this stuff up and adding intrigue and mystery to the narrative. I just don't care. Again, it's just because of this knowledge that I know that after the season, or hell, after the episodes, that they're just not going to show up anymore. None of it's going to matter anyway, so I just can't get invested. Most interesting thing about this episode is the character of the day is named Keanu.
Seeing is believing!
May's Silcoon evolves into Beautifly, and Jessie's Cascoon evolves into Dustox. To everyone's surprise, she's actually okay with it. That's all that happens in this episode. Oh, also Professor Birch shows up again. Like, well, he was in the last episode, and he left in this one. I just didn't mention him, because, you know, who cares? In Ready, Willing, and Sableye, Meowth befriends a Sableye and tricks him into helping Team Rocket capture the twerp's Pokemon. But Sableye just wanted to play harmless pranks and turns on Team Rocket when he finds out that he's been tricked. In a minute-tight fight, Ash battles a girl who claims to be Brawly's best student, but is actually just a fangirl. And then finally, after multiple episodes, Ash is ready to rematch Brawly. Yes, we've been on Dewford Island this whole time. In just one of the geysers, Ash rematches Sonic and wins this time with Trico and Corphish, winning his second badge. Why he didn't use Tailo, I will never know. In Abandoned Ship, finally the gang leave Dewford to head for Slateport City and eventually Mauville City for Ash's next gym badge. But on the way, after a rocket scheme, they hitch a ride on a random boat after helping some kid find his missing Marsh Stomp, which has now evolved into a Swampert.
Now that's flower power!
Arriving in Slateport City, May and Jessie are getting ready for the Pokemon Contest there, but May is constantly getting shit-talked by a boy named Drew who keeps making fun of her inexperience. And after stopping Team Rocket and making some Pokeblocks a special food to feed Pokemon for contests, we find out Drew is also a coordinator and he's competing in the same contest, and he's shown to have a very strong Roselia. Now, I like Drew. I like the way he acts towards May. It's very, shoujo main guy, if you know what I mean. Very heavy ship baiting.
Please, sir, You've got to teach me everything. You know, the works. How not to lose, how to win, what to think, to say, what to feel, to be.
And having a Wailord time, a beached Wailord, oh no, but I guess that's not interesting enough, so we also have a story about a group of starter Pokemon. Okay.
Win, lose, or drew!
Alright, here we go, baby, the first Pokemon contest. So how these work is a first round performance where the Pokemon uses moves to wow the judges and audience. After that, it's whittled to usually a top 8 in the second round, which is a battle. But it's not just about winning, as it's more of a point system that can go down if you're able to show off your Pokemon or make your opponents look worse. May manages to make it to the second round, but unfortunately loses to Drew. And Drew himself loses to another coordinator named Robert, who does come back. He's more of a tertiary character. Oh, and Jessie was too late to register, so she didn't compete. Now, personally, I love the contests, both in the game and the anime. While there's still technically a battle, it's less about power and more about technique, so it's a different enough for me. But seeing the performance part is a nice change of pace from the usual gyms and stuff we get. Plus, it's actually something for May to do, so you know she can have her own arc and story, her own rivals, and Jessie and Drew, and a few more in the future, as well as giving her a reason to keep traveling with Ash. Because look, I like Misty as much as the next person, but you can probably tell with how little I mentioned her that she didn't have much of a reason to be in the show besides being the girl. I mean, her banter with Ash and Brock was funny, and I was sad seeing her go, don't get me wrong. It's just after her episode way back in season 1 with Jim and her sisters, she was always just kind of there, you know? Let's be honest, we all just remember her because of Psyduck. Contests are a great way for May to be more involved in her own story. You know, she's not just there to cheer on Ash and make comments. She actually has her own goals, her own drive, her own things to do, which makes her a more interesting character to me. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see the rest of her story. Hopefully it won't disappoint. In Spiel of Approval, oh, it's just more Team Magma stuff, whatever. The gang leave from Mauville City. In Jump for Joy, a Nurse Joy is kidnapped by a Shift Tree, not knowing why. The gang try to save her, only to find out the Shift Tree took her to heal a sick Nuzleaf. In a different kind of Misty, no, Misty the character has absolutely nothing to do with this episode, it's just a clickbait title. Maybe the first one in history? It's about helping some kids who run a lighthouse to help people get through mist.
So the lighthouse is always there to lend a hand and keep people from losing their way.
In a Pokeblock party, the gang arrive in Mauville and decide to go through the Trick House to win a lifetime supply of Pokeblocks. And of course Team Rocket are trying to win them too with 30 tricks. And then, oh, whoa, Jigglypuff has followed Ash to the Hoenn region. I honestly forgot about her. Well, now that they've reintroduced her, they're probably going to use her a lot more now.
What's with Watson?
So like this episode, it's a more interesting take on a gym battle that we've seen over and over again. Arriving at the Mauville gym, the gang get put on a weird ride where Pikachu gets a big jolt of electricity. And when Ash finally faces the leader Watson, Pikachu is so overcharged that his Thunderbolts are able to one-shot even electric-type Pokemon. And Ash speedruns the gym, taking the badge in a sub 5-minute run. However, being beaten so easily makes Watson depressed and starts to wonder if he's worthy of being a gym leader. Of course, all of it is solved after a rocket scheme, and Ash is still given the badge for stopping them. Like, I like this. I want them to do more interesting concepts like this with the gym battles rather than just, you know, having a battle. Like, I get that's what the kids want to see. They want to see Pokemon battles, but seeing a different take on it is a lot more interesting to me watching it.
What you seed is what you get!
So now we are in Pokemon Advanced Challenge with a new theme called This Dream, which I like and is the most memorable one of the Advanced series to me personally.
Yeah, this dream will last forever. This dream will never die. We will rise to meet the challenge every time.
I especially love the guitar riff near the end, that's hype as fuck.
The best that the world's ever seen.
The actual episode is nothing. It's about Trico learning the move Bullet Seed as the group head to Fall Arbor Town for May's next contest and Lava Ridge Town for Ash's next badge.
Love at first flight!
Okay, so this actual episode is nothing special. It's literally Romeo and Juliet, but with Volbeat and Illumise. Like, seriously, their trainers are called Romeo and Juliet. What I want to talk about is something I don't think I've even mentioned yet. Who's that Pokemon? I'm sure we all know this famous segment. I just didn't bother bringing it up, you know, because it was like, whatever, we all know it. It's been in, like, there since the beginning. I think even people who haven't seen the anime know this segment, right? Well, recently, they have gotten rid of that segment. I know, calm down, it's okay. Because now we have Trainer's Choice, a segment where they give a little quiz, like, what is this Pokemon super effective against, or what does this Pokemon evolve into? It's kind of cute. I like it. I don't know if it's better than Who's That Pokemon, but not a bad replacement.
Trainers, which one of these Pokemon is the best choice to battle Poliwrath?
And let Bagons be Bagons.
Hey, have you fools all lost your minds? Where do you get off launching a sneak attack on my Bagon like that?
What are you talking about? Your Bagon attacked us first.
You really don't know how many crimes these kids get accused of. It is really starting to irritate me. It's just, can the writers find a better way to start the plot of an episode? It happens so often. Anyway, the episode is about the group of criminals helping a trainer get their Bagon to fly.
The princess and the Togepi!
So yeah, Misty's back. She's just back. There's no build-up or anything to it. The episode just starts with the gang meeting Misty. Kinda wish there was a bit more fanfare for the return of a main character, but okay. The episode itself is also kinda mid, as you can tell by the title. It's more about Togepi. As Misty received an invitation to the Togepi Festival, but it turns out to be a trick by Team Rocket, who are working with Colonel Hanson of the Mirage Kingdom. This is because in order to be crowned royalty in the Mirage Kingdom, you must own a Togepi. What an easy prerequisite to be considered royalty. Then in the next episode, a Togepi Mirage, yes, it's a two-parter, it really didn't need to be. It seems that Colonel Hanson's plans are going well, as all his evil is making Togepi sick since they run off of good vibes, yes, I mean that. And after all, the Togepi lend Misty's Togepi their energy, it evolves into Togetic, and decides to stay in the Mirage Kingdom to protect the other Togepi, as the princess the group have been helping is rightfully crowned ruler. What a lame two-parter. If it was any other episode, it'd be fine, but this is what we do when we bring back Misty? Like, yeah, I don't like her as much as May, but I still like her, you know? What was that? Plus, I'm a big believer in if you bring back a fan-favorite character, a legacy character, whatever, you should do it right. Make all the references, inside jokes, touching moments you can. All the fan service, you know? Like, I don't care about this bullshit kingdom and its made-up Togepi lore. I think it's dumb. I also don't like this is how Misty loses Togepi for, again, some bullshit magical kingdom we will never see again. Why is it when the main characters release a Pokemon, their episodes suck, but Team Rocket gets the actual good ones? Yeah, I didn't like these episodes. Hopefully if they do this again, where they bring back a character from another series, they actually do it right and honor them properly. And even if this was a character I didn't like Tracy, I think the same thing. You should give the fans something, even the Tracy fans, all two of them.
Okay, trainers, if you chose Talo, you were right.
Whatever. Moving on to Candid Camerupt, the gang come across the Winstreet family, a family of trainers, but one of them wants to leave home to be the very best like no one ever was.
I feel skitty!
In this episode, May fights with Jessie over a wild skitty they found. Of course, she ends up catching it herself. More importantly, we have to talk about Max now. So having made it clear, characters with this greenish-blue color scheme I despise with all my being. I seriously don't get the point of Max. Like, Ash is the main character, May's doing contests traveling with them, Brock cooks and takes care of everything. Max is there, but I gotta tell you, this episode, it's the last straw. I'm slamming my table. So if you remember, there was a running joke that Misty would pull Brock's ear when he was trying to, mack on the honeys, as the kids say. Now this made sense for Misty's character, as she would be someone who would constantly be annoyed by Brock hitting on women. But now, the one doing it is Max. Which makes no fucking sense. Yes, I know he's doing it for the joke, but in the context of the Pokemon world, why would Max care about Brock trying to get his dick wet? He's like, what, 7? He doesn't even grasp the concept of holding hands. It would make just as much sense if Ash did it. It's not used now as a sight gag that makes sense with these two characters, with the relationship they have. Now it's just a joke they're keeping up, because kids anime love running jokes. And again, Ash and May don't care, and Max shouldn't either, but I guess he's the only one available. This just confirms how much I hate this little cockblocker. He's annoying, and now he's stepping on Misty's game. You're gonna do her dirty in a two-parter, and then ruin her joke? What do you have against her, Pokemon? Yeah, fuck Max, he's the worst part of this series, honestly. Nothing against the voice actors who play them or anything, they do a good job. It's mostly the people writing him. Like, why'd you make him the most useless, annoying twat? Fuck him, I don't want to talk about him anymore. In Zigzag Zangoose, we run into that Knicker guy again, who now has the Pokemon Zangoose, which is the natural enemy of Jessie's Survivor. And maxed out, oh god, there's 2 of them, hard pass. And pros and con artists, the gang arrive in Fall Arbor for May's next contest, and after some heckling from Drew, she ends up falling for a Team Rocket Pokeblock scam, but stops them with the help of another coordinator, Grace. And it's fine. The cool thing this episode does is that it shows Drew is also pretty good at battling, as he beats Ash in a Pokemon battle, which makes May more nervous since as far as she knows, Ash is really good, and he's got 3 badges after all.
Come what may!
After dominating the first round, May, Drew, that Lady Grace from the last episode, and Jessie, disguised as Jessica, make it to the second round. May is able to beat Jessie, which blows their cover and getting them blasted off again. And in an upset, Grace beats Drew, leaving May and Grace in the finals. And even though May doesn't win the battle necessarily at the end, she has more points and manages to get her first ribbon. I don't think I mentioned it, but to get to the Grand Festival, you need a total of 5 ribbons, so yeah, she's already 20% of the way done. I definitely think one of the things I like about these contests more than I do the gym battles is the fact that we get to know multiple characters that will appear over time, like Drew and Jesse, as these different rivals and characters may will meet. You know, it's a lot more interesting than getting to a gym, meeting the gym leader for maybe like 1 to 2 episodes, and then never seeing them again. Speaking of, I guess since Gary isn't here, Ash doesn't really have a rival this season. Huh, didn't really think about that. Sure hope they don't throw in like 3 of them in the last minute that are very uninteresting.
Cheer! Pressure!
Oh, in this episode, the gang meet the kid from the Not Misty episode. It's about cheerleading. In game-winning assist, May Skitty is revealed to know the move Assist on the Numal Ranch. We will see Assist a lot. Well, I will. You probably won't see it at all. And Fight for the Meteorite, it's just more Aqua Magma stuff, not important.
Poetry commotion!
The gang make it to Lavaridge Town for Ash's next gym battle, but find out the leader Flannery has just inherited the gym and doesn't know what she's doing. But after her grandfather, the last gym leader, helps her by beating Team Rocket, she's ready for Ash's gym battle. The concept of a new gym leader is an interesting and pretty cool idea. I'm glad they explored it somewhat in the anime. I wish we got more, you know? Ash then beats Flannery in Going Yawn, and we never see her again, because that's Pokemon. And going for a Spinda, the gang decide to head back to Petalburg to fight Norman. On the way there, they help a girl find her Spinda with a heart-shaped mark.
I would do that and more. Now look deep within these honorable eyes. You must trust me!
All Torkoal, no play!
The gang cross the Valley of Steel, filled with a bunch of very territorial Steel-type Pokemon. On their way, they find a Torkoal also trying to cross, but they find out the Torkoal is actually there to challenge a Steelix to a battle. With the help of Ash, the Torkoal is able to win, and it decides to join Ash's party. In Magnetric Charge, the gang arrive back in Mauville on their way to Petalburg, and Ash decides to have a rematch against Watson, which he loses. Ooh, better give back that badge, bud. They also find out the next contest is in Verdanturf Town, so they head that way. In Delcatty Got Your Tongue, the group meet an ex-coordinator who has won the Grand Festival, turned into a doctor, and she has a Delcatty. That helps May Skitty learn Blizzard.
Disaster of disguise!
The group arrive in Verdanturf Town and find out a mysterious person named the Phantom is going around battling random people, including Drew, who gets beaten so bad his Roselia can't enter the contest there. The group finds out... Okay, get this shit. The Phantom is a kid named Timmy, whose dad, Tommy, married some lady who doesn't get a first name, and she hates Pokemon, which does not seem possible living in the world of Pokemon. So Tommy, while married to her, wore the Phantom disguise and competed in contests in secret for years, until giving it up. Then Timmy found the costume and decided to do the same thing, using the Phantom disguise to be a coordinator so his mommy doesn't find out. That is so stupid. I kind of love it. We get the ending to this in Disguise the Limit, where May, Timmy as the Phantom, and Jessie as just Lana enter the contest, and after Team Rocket stuff, Timmy's identity is revealed to his mom. Oh no. And she has some backstory that is supposed to be sad of why she hates Pokemon, because when she was a kid, her parents didn't want her to play with childish things like Pokemon and took her Poochyena away, because they wanted her to be a businesswoman, so she didn't want Timmy to have a Pokemon so he wouldn't feel that same pain of it getting taken away someday. Which this story is actually stupid. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care, it's a kid show, whatever, you know. Like, you expect me to believe, in the world of Pokemon, that anybody would think Pokemon are childish? There are so many adults that use Pokemon in the Pokemon world, most of them for business purposes. Like, the pure evil people use Pokemon for money and power and shit all the time. Like, what is this? Like, it's the most forced backstory I think I've ever heard in Pokemon so far. It sucks, it makes no sense, and all for some bitch that doesn't even get a first name. Anyways, May beats Timmy and gets her second ribbon. Moving on.
Take the Lombre home!
After going to a village that of course has some tale or legend about the Pokemon Lombre, Brock's Lotad evolves into a Lombre. Crazy. In True Blue Swablu, the group find an injured Swablu that mostly May nurses back to health, and they debate us into thinking the Swablu will join May's team, but instead it goes back to its flock. In Gulpin It Down, the group arrive at a town overrun with Gulpin that are eating everything in sight, and it ends with a kaiju fight. Cool, but also what the fuck.
Explode and clear!
When Ash tries to get his Treecko to be more social, he meets Guy, who owns a rowdy Loudred, and the two decide, of course, to battle so the Pokemon can get their angst out. And during the battle, both of them evolve, Treecko into Grovyle and Loudred into Exploud. and now the Exploud is way out of control, and the gang have to find a way to calm it down. You know what I love about Pokemon? Its lack of racism. I know that's a weird thing to think about at this point in time, but it's just something I really love about it.
Go, go, Ludicolo!
Ludicolo, did you find some people to entertain? Yes, it is, son. I'm Pancho, and we travel from town to town, entertaining folks as we go.
In A Double Dilemma, arriving in Petalburg, we see May and the other one are famous for being Norman's kids, so Team Rocket decides to disguise themselves as the family, I don't think they have a last name, to get free shit. So yeah, it's a repeat of the Oak episode. I do think the disguises are funnier since Meowth is May and Wobbuffet is the other one, and people actually believe them. Also, can we just have Wobbuffet be the other one for the rest of the season, please? He's way more tolerable.
I'm afraid he's caught a little chill.
It gets awfully cold on the road.
Wobbuffet!
In Love Petalburg style, May and the other one's mom think Norman is cheating on her with Nurse Joy. While the concept of cheating is something I did not expect Pokemon to bring up, I mean, maybe they did in another episode and I don't remember. But also, it's Pokemon and these are the parents of two main characters, so, you know, we also know none of that's happening, so let's skip to the gym battle. In Balance of Power, we maybe get the first time a Pokemon's ability, a new mechanic introduced in Gen 3, is shown off, as Pikachu has Static and Grovyle, of course, has Overgrow. Using these abilities, Ash is able to beat Norman, but of course, who has to ruin it is the other one, who can't stand that his dad lost and takes the badge. But his dad and Ash say, "Get over it, Scrubble, people lose," and Ash gets his 5th badge. In a 6-pack attack, Oak is visiting Birch for reasons and brings some Kanto stars with him, which Team Rocket attempts to steal. And at the end, Ash learns the next gym is in Fortree City. In The Bigger the Better, a couple is going around challenging other people to double battles, and they easily beat Ash and May and Jesse and James, with both pairs blaming their battle partners for the loss. And eventually it ends up with a double battle between Ash and James versus May and Jesse.
Let's blow those whining women back to the Dark Ages right where they belong.
Yeah, okay. Grass hysteria!
While traveling, May is picked up by a Skamori who drops her off in a fenced-off area that is home to very territorial grass-type Pokemon. They're like this because humans who came to catch the Pokemon ruined the forest, so the grass types have become very aggressive to humans. While there, May saves a Bulbasaur from falling, and after stopping Team Rocket, the Bulbasaur decides to join May. In Hokey Pokeballs, Ash decides to bring his Bulbasaur from Oak's lab to meet May's, but Team Rocket has set up a device to steal any Pokemon sent to the Pokemon Center, and the gang have to stop them. In Wishcash and Ash at some lake, the gang meet Legend, a man who has been trying to catch a giant Wishcash that lives in the lake. After several attempts to help him catch it, Legend decides to use the first instance of a Master Ball in the anime to catch Wishcash, but it eats it and wanders off. If it weren't for that ending joke, I wouldn't remember this episode. In Me, Myself, and Time, Ash gets separated from his friends in a fog and meets Callista, who's searching for an ancient civilization of Baltoy, and a mysterious woman helps them only to find out that one of the artifacts of the Baltoy is a time machine, and the woman is Callista from the future, who came back to help her younger self find the civilization so she can study it because the older one never had time to. But she found the time machine, so she has to at some point. Whatever, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey nonsense. I will say you gotta respect Pokemon that they can just randomly throw in a time travel episode out of nowhere just because, and it just kind of makes sense. It's pretty ballsy of them. It'd be even crazier if they did it again. In this series, in A Fan with a Plan, the gang arrive in Rubella Town to enter a special contest where you need at least one ribbon to compete. So that means Jesse can't, but Drew can, who is also there. While there, they meet the Mothers of Pokemon, a club of MILFs who love Pokemon contests, with one of them, Savannah, also competing. Then, in Cruisin' for a Losin', we see the contest where May enters her Bulbasaur and is feeling herself a bit too much since she's won her last 2 contests, being really overconfident and neglecting advice from Drew and her friends. And when her Bulbasaur is clearly uncomfortable and scared, having no time to adjust from leaving the forest, she angrily berates it and forces it to fight, which gets her to lose, and she learns some lesson about being humble. Drew ends up winning the contest, needing only one more to compete in the Grand Festival. May's overconfidence kinda comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's hinted at in the last episode, but I just kinda wish it was built up more. Otherwise, the episode was alright. In Pearls Are a Spoink's Best Friend, the gang meet a wild Spoink that lost its pearl on its head, and they try to find a replacement. During this, they meet the Magikarp salesman for the first time, the one that's been tricking James, and it somehow tricks Jesse into buying a Feebas, which is just a Magikarp painted.
That's just Swallow!
Knowing what a Taillow evolves into and the title, you can tell what happens, as Ash's Taillow evolves into Swallow during some weird flying Pokemon competition, which he wins. In Take This House and Shup It, it's a ghost episode, or whatever I called it.
A Shroomish Skirmish!
After Team Rocket steals some food from a group of Shroomish, they get so angry they evolve into Breloom and start chasing them around, and they eventually get to the Twerps, and this scatters everyone. Eventually the Pokemon try to fight off the Breloom, which causes Torchic to evolve into Combuskin, and after trading bros, the Breloom and Combuskin send them Team Rocket blasting off. In unfair weather, friends, it's more Aqua Magma stuff.
Who's flying now?
Arriving in Four Tree City, the gang meet Winona, the gym leader, who's busy helping with the Feather Carnival, so Ash has to wait for his battle. In the meantime, after again being swindled by the Magikarp salesman, again, into buying a Hoppip disguised as a Chimecho, James just finds a Chimecho and catches it. So Rocket decides to steal some more Pokemon, and thanks to Chimecho, their wounds keep getting healed, but are eventually beaten by Winona. By the way, I love the voice of Chimecho, who doesn't seem to be credited to my knowledge, but the way they say Chimecho, I always thought it was calming in a way. Like, you know, they do a great job, whoever they are. In Sky High Gym Battle, Ash beats Winona and gets his 6th badge. Man, we're getting these badges fast, and like 2 more to go, and we still have like 100 episodes left. In Lights Camera Up action, on the way to Moss Deep City for the next gym, the gang help a trainer named Elijah get his camera up to a town as he travels around showing movies to the children's. Also, yes, a cameo from the Pocket Monsters manga, very cool. In Crazy as a Lunatone, we meet the weirdos from that Cleffa episode again, the Pokemon Mystery Club, this time trying to find the secrets of the Pokemon Lunatone. I'm mainly surprised that they brought these two back at all. In the Garden of Eden, it's pretty much a repeat of the Snorlax episode from the Orange Islands, like the only difference is Ash doesn't catch this one.
Scared to remember!
Okay, in a kind of interesting episode, after another failed attempt at stealing Pikachu, an explosion gives Pikachu amnesia, and Meowth convinces him he's a member of Team Rocket. Gonna be honest, I'm more surprised they haven't done an episode like this sooner. In Pokeblock, Stock, and Berry, the group arrive in Lily Cove for another contest, and they learn all about making Pokeblocks, move teachers, etc. And like most pre-contest episodes, we meet a character May will be competing with, in Kelly and her piggy. Then in Lessons in Lily Cove, May, Kelly, and Jessie, disguised as Josephina, using James as Chimecho, enter the Lily Cove contest. In the finals, May beats Kelly's piggy, earning her 3rd ribbon.
Judgment Day!
A weird biblical reference. In this episode, we learn about the harsh world of being a Pokemon battle judge, as they help a guy named Jimmy find out why he sucks so much at judging. I don't know, man, get good.
Clamperl of Wisdom!
So now we're in Advanced Battle, the 3rd part of Pokemon Advanced. The new theme, Unbeatable, is catchy.
Walking down this endless highway, nothing but my friends beside me.
And again, I still don't like that they say the subtitle, even if it is just once. I'm hearing it like 50 times in a few days, okay, so it gets annoying.
Advanced battle is the ultimate test. Pokemon, advanced battle. Pokemon, advanced battle. Advanced battle.
Anyway, this episode is about a Clamperl, and they meet that wild Spoink they helped a few episodes ago. Whatever, it's not that interesting. In the Relicanth Really Can, the gang helps some jobber look for a sunken treasure. In the Evolutionary War, it's another race war. It's the Huntails versus the Gorebuses. It's not as interesting as you'd think. In Training Rex, the gang arrive on Muscle Island, and after some battling, the episode ends with another Team Rocket attempt, sending everyone flying off and getting lost at sea.
Gaining Ground of Legends!
Yes, I'm talking about these two at the same time, because it is a 2-parter, and it finally ends the Magma Aqua stuff. After getting lost at sea from the last episode, the gang are taken by Team Magma, and they meet their leader Maxie, who explains they have Kyogre and Aqua has Groudon, along with each team having the orb that controls the legendary Pokemon that they don't have. An Aqua member in disguise releases Kyogre, and during all the chaos, the kids escape, and Pikachu absorbs the blue orb, because I guess it can do that. And out of fucking nowhere, Ash meets Lance again. Yeah, he's back. Eventually, the Aqua leader Archie absorbs the other orb, and the 2 legendary Pokemon fight, with Groudon winning, and the orbs leaving Pikachu and Archie as the 2 legendaries go back to sleep. And I assume Team Magma and Aqua just walk away with no one really arresting them or anything. Who cares? Yeah, sorry, not sorry. I just think this was a dumb 2-parter that ends a plot I didn't even care about. I mean, the fact that it's 2 parts too, and the fact that they built up this whole thing throughout the whole season, you know? It's like the Lugia thing got 3 episodes. Why does this big payoff to all the stuff we've been seeing with the big evil team of the season, why does it only get 2 episodes? What's with that? Anyways, I don't really feel like analyzing it or anything. I'm just glad we're done with Team Aqua and Magma. I don't care. I want to move on. And it's still rocket roll to me. The gang arrive in Moss Deep and meet Tate and Liza, the twin gym leaders, who are excited for the big space launch. The rest of it involves the other one, so my interest died immediately. In Solid as a Soul Rock, the gym battle begins, and Tate and Liza use Soul Rock and Lunatone, 2 rock types, and Ash uses Swellow and Pikachu, who do not do well against rock types, even if Pikachu has Iron Tail. But I guess I'm the dumbass, and Ash wins, getting his 7th gym badge. Oh yeah, and just to mention it, there was an unaired episode of Pokemon back here that involved a wish catch that I actually have no footage of because, like I said, it was unaired. That was canceled due to an earthquake in Japan, as the episode heavily featured the moves Earthquake, Fissure, moves of that type. So, just acknowledging it, but yeah, it's one of the few episodes I just could not watch for various reasons. In Vanity Affair, it's another one that just gives me flashbacks to the Orange Islands again, with Ash meeting an Elite Four member, this time being Drake, challenging him to a fight and losing, and nothing of value is really gained. In Where's Armaldo, May's Bulbasaur learns Petal Dance, which she uses to beat Team Rocket who try to steal some fossil Pokemon.
A Cacturn for the worst!
On the way to Izabe Island for May's next contest, she meets Harley, another coordinator who at first is very friendly toward May, but it turns out he's a very vindictive and two-faced person who's also very petty, as his hatred for May starts when she says the cookies he made were not half bad, and a nemesis for life was made that day. During the contest, Harley gives May bad advice to get her to mess up, and embarrasses her by leaking a story of her as a kid, which isn't really that bad, honestly. However, May comes out on top, earning her 4th ribbon, and Harley swears to beat May someday. I like Harley as a rival. He's pretty interesting, being this very underhanded and vindictive character, but he can actually be a threat and be a very good coordinator when he actually plays fair in those rare instances. And again, I like that May is getting her own rivals and getting her own ups and downs and things like that. It makes her more interesting to watch, and they're still keeping me invested in my opinion. I'm looking forward to them every time, because again, I'm just sick of gym battles at this point, because it's the only thing that we get that's like an event or something, if what you call it that. In Claydol Big and Tall, Team Rocket accidentally released a giant Claydol from a stone Pokeball, and the twerps in them try to seal it away again. And once in a Mawile, a trainer, Samantha's Mawile, gets a crush on Brock's Lombre, which Brock sees as an opportunity to get close to Samantha. After stopping some rocket stuff, Brock's Lombre evolves into Ludicolo from a Waterstone in Samantha's backpack. And now Mawile has no interest in him, so Brock and Ludicolo dance their heartbreak away. In Beg, Burrow, and Steel, the gang helps some researchers find a hidden lake where Trapinch evolve into Vibrava. In Absolute Disaster, a town has been getting their bridges destroyed seemingly by an Absol, but a kid and his brother think the Absol is innocent, which it is, as the Absol was trying to warn the town of an incoming flood.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow run.
In a random snowy area, Ash's badges are taken by a Snowrun who's trying to play, but Ash ain't playing, and wants his badges back. And after chasing him, Ash and the Snowrun bond after getting lost in a blizzard, and then the Snowrun decides to join Ash's team. And do I hear a Ralts?
Listen, everyone, I now take on full responsibility for this Ralts.
Skip. In the Great 8 Fate, the gang arrive in Sutopolis City for Ash's 8th gym battle, and they meet the leader, Hoenn, who says the gym here is different as they have a double battle followed by a single battle. This episode, Ash manages to win the double battle. Then in 8 Enough, in the single battle portion, Ash comes out on top with Pikachu beating his Milotic. So now Ash is qualified for the Hoenn League, which will be held in 3 months at Evergrande City, and May learns the next contest is in Pacific Logtown, their next destination. In Showdown at Lanoon, a trainer's Lanoon is going around stealing round objects and steals 2 of May's Pokeballs, so the group try to get them back, with of course Team Rocket trying to catch it too. And who, what, when, where, why not, the gang run into Drew again, who reveals he now has 5 ribbons, qualifying him for the Grand Festival. And May finds out the next contest is the last one, and she needs to win it to qualify. Also some stuff about why not and berries, that's cool and fun. In Date Expectations, the group come across a herd of Donphan, where the males are all competing to make some eggs with the females, if you know what I mean. There's a good character moment here, where after Stampede gets the other one separated from the group, May selflessly decides to go back for him missing the boat that would take her to Pacific Logtown, making her miss her chance to be in the Grand Festival.
I have to honor that vow that I made her, even if it means missing out on my ribbon in this grand festival. I'll start working on next year's festival and get even stronger.
Of course, by the end she's able to make it, but her sacrificing her chance at her dream for her brother is a great thing, even if it was for a gremlin. In Mean with Envy, arriving in Pacific Logtown, May befriends a coordinator, Joshua, and another coordinator, Erica, who, like Joshua, calls May a whore for moving in on her man. When the contest starts, May, Joshua, Erica, and Jesse, disguised as Jester and using Meowth, all make it to the second round, and the episode ends with a cliffhanger of May versus Joshua. Then in Pacific Log Jam, May manages to beat Joshua, and Erica beats Jesse, and then, well, you know what happens after that. But Erica, through watching May and Joshua's battle, realizes there is no canoodling going on, and they tried their best either way, so her and May have a final battle that May wins, getting her final ribbon and qualifying her for the Grand Festival. In Very, Very Interesting, on the way to the Grand Festival, May makes some special Pokeblocks which taste awful, except to a Munchlax. That's right, our first appearance of a Gen 4 Pokemon in the anime. Seeing someone appreciate her cooking, May catches the Munchlax, adding it to her team. In Less is Morrison, during a lunch break, Ash meets a trainer named Morrison, who instantly starts a rivalry with Ash as the two's personalities constantly clash, having them argue and compete over everything. After stopping Team Rocket, the two make up and promise to meet in the Hoenn League. I legit forgot Morrison existed until rewriting the script, and I also forgot him again reading the script. I forgot he existed at all. Shows how important he is. In the Ribbon Cup Caper, it's hopefully the last episode we hear anything about Magma and Aqua, as one of the ex-Magma members, I think, Brody, who's like a master of disguise, he was in another episode, I didn't care, tries to steal the trophy for the Grand Festival. He doesn't, they stop him, all is well. However, one thing you'll notice when watching this episode is that now the voice actor for Officer Jenny has changed.
No one's broken the law. Not yet. I mean, nobody's done anything wrong so far.
No longer voiced by the OG Lee Quick, she's now voiced by Jamie Devious Owens. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And she's not bad, I just think Quick had this certain cadence to her voice that was perfect for Officer Jenny. It was commanding, yet at the same time felt like she had no idea the true meaning of the orders that she was barking out. And to be fair, this is the first episode of her taking over the role, so it could take some getting used to. But, well, if you've seen the anime, you know, won't have to be getting used to these voices much longer. So episode 396 is Pokemon's first clip show. Yes, not even they could escape the clip show. You may not remember this if you grew up outside of Japan, because every dubbed version skips the clip shows, thankfully. So, that's what I'm going to do.
Hi-ho, Silverwind!
Here we are, the Grand Festival held at Slateport City, and all of the warriors have gathered. May, Drew, Harley, Robert, the guy who won the first contest May entered, remember? Told you he'd come back. Oh, and Jessie is not in it, of course, because she never won any ribbons, but that doesn't stop Team Rocket from trying to impersonate Norman again. Luckily, Harley is being very helpful to May, even helping her stop Team Rocket, and gave her advice that helped her get past the preliminary round. Wow, May sure is stupid. Because of course he's up to something, as Drew, Ash, Brock, and even the other one pointed out. But who knows, maybe he has turned over a new leaf.
Deceit and assist!
Yeah, no, of course Harley was tricking her, as in the performance round he convinces May to spam Skitty's assist attack, like she didn't do that enough already, which goes all sorts of wrong. Drew exposes this thing that was obvious to everyone except May, I guess, but she may get her revenge as the next round has her and Harley fighting in a double battle. Meanwhile, Ash is trying to help his Snow White perfect its Ice Beam move, and finds out Team Rocket stole some guy's ribbons and impersonate him in order to compete, which Ash stops. Great.
Rhapsody in Drew!
Here we are, the finale of the Grand Festival. Yeah, it was only 3 episodes. It's May versus Harley, and May starts off strong, but Harley uses his Banette's Torment, meaning May can't use the same OP move twice. But thanks to some quick thinking, she beats him once again. Then May beats that guy Ash helped in the last episode, that's why I brought him up. And her next match is against Drew. It's his Flygon and Roselia against May's Combuskin and Skitty. And the two trade points back and forth, but in the end, Drew comes out on top. But even though she lost, the audience cheers for May, knowing she put her all into it. In the final round, Drew takes second, losing to Robert, who, before taking the stage, gave Ash some advice for Snorunt, which got it to evolve into a Glalie. Now with the Grand Festival over, May surprisingly finds Drew still training instead of him resting, and he tells her you can't stop the grind if you want to win. And he can't wait to meet May again in the next Grand Festival, which I'm sure makes her heart go doki doki. But now with all that over, May says her next goal is to cheer Ash on in the Hoenn League. So yeah, like I said before, I loved this whole contest thing, it was great. I loved the characters, I loved May's story, how little of it we got. And despite being 3 episodes, I did think the pacing of the Grand Festival was pretty good. Although it didn't really feel like, you know, the big epic ending tournament to it, it just felt like a regular contest, but it was still pretty nice, I liked it. But now let's move on to the Hoenn League. Oh wait, no, before that we have Island Time, some episode where the kids get tricked into a plane piloted by Team Rocket, which crashes on a deserted island where they meet some guy who has been stranded and helped there with his Whalmer friend to evolve so it can carry all of them off the island. Let's just get to the Hoenn League, and like Meowth to a Flame, finally arriving in Evergrande City for the Hoenn League, Ash meets Tyson and his Giga Chad Meowth, another participant in the league, who shows off his skill by stopping Team Rocket from stealing the torch for the league again. The Hoenn League officially begins. Ash, Morrison, and Tyson are all gathered, and all of them make it past the preliminaries. Yeah, that's all that matters that happens.
From brags to riches!
So I'm gonna be real, this league compared to Kanto and Johto is pretty boring. Not just the battles, which are mostly against some randos, the rivals Morrison and Tyson had so little build-up. I mean, I guess they had as much as Richie, but it's been more than 300 episodes since then. I expect better rivals now. I mean, hopefully it starts picking up.
Shocks and bonds!
Nah, it's still boring, as again, it's just Ash beating some jobbers with not that much effort. The most entertaining part is sadly occasionally checking in on Team Rocket's job at the stadium selling snacks. Well, we're at top 32 now, and Ash fighting some new jobber named Katie, who actually looks kinda cool, I guess. And, oh, whoa, wait, the episode ends with her getting a lead on Ash, and is actually giving him a challenge? Okay, hold up.
A judgment brawl!
So finally, we got a decent battle that Ash is involved in this region-wide tournament. It's not the best, but it had Ash on the back foot for most of it due to Katie's strategy and actually her top-tier team for the time. A Scizor, a girl after my own heart. Ash does beat her, but the point is, when watching it, it felt like he wasn't gonna win. You know, I kind of missed that feeling. But now, Ash's next fight is against, wait, which rival was this? Was this Tyson?
Choose it or lose it!
Ash versus Morrison is okay. Again, I just don't care about Morrison, so this rivalry doesn't add anything for me. I miss Gary. Ash manages to beat him and moves on to the semifinals to fight. Oh, no, wait, this one's Tyson, right. Man, his design is really boring.
At the end of the fray!
And what a boring fray it was, man. This league sucked. The battles were not that interesting or inventive on how trainers use their Pokemon. The rivals were uninteresting and underdeveloped. And no fight felt unwinnable for Ash besides Katie, no matter how much they tried. So, at the end of it all, Tyson beats Ash and manages to take the whole thing. I look forward to not seeing Morrison or Tyson ever again, and I mean that.
The Scheme Team!
Well, journey's over, gang. No, I mean it. We're done. Hoenn's over. It's done. May and the other one head back to Petalburg to rest up, while Ash and Brock return to Kanto. Oh, I know I can't fool you, as you astute viewers who have just looked at the timestamps probably realize the advanced section isn't over yet. That's because we got one more left in us. Back in Kanto, Brock goes back to Pewter, and Ash is now in Viridian, traveling back to Pallet Town. He fights Agatha of the Kanto Elite Four, who's filling in for the 8th gym leader, who's probably off doing something, who knows. Ash loses, but a man named Scott, who enjoyed their battle, tells Ash he should enter the Battle Frontier, a series of 6 facilities run by Frontier Brains, super strong trainers. After beating all 6, you get to find out where the secret final 7th Frontier is located. And if you beat it, I guess you win, they don't really say what you get. After deciding he's going to challenge it, he does return home for a bit to get some R&R, where Ash sees, oh hey, it's Misty again. And no, I thought I was free from you.
The right place and the right mime!
So now, yes, that one's here again. And Ash takes him to see all of his Pokemon. And oh god, Tracy's here too. Why are all of my enemies gathered in one place? At least May shows up as well, someone I like. She's here to enter Pokemon Contests in Kanto. Yeah, I guess they have those, we just never saw them when Ash was traveling through them somehow. May decided to leave her Beautifly and Skitty home for some reason, but she gets a Squirtle from Professor Oak. And Ash decides to leave his Torkoal and Glalie at Oak's for some reason, but brings along his Phanpy again. So Ash, May, and the other one decide to travel again across Kanto, as he learns the Battle Factory is near Cerulean City, so Misty decides to join them.
Forgetting someone?
Huh?
Now what's a journey without me?
Oh, and then Brock shows up. Can't forget him, I guess. Well, we're back to the normal kind of episodes and a real Cleffahanger. Where the group of 5 are on their way to Cerulean, we learn Brock left his Ludicolo at home for some reason, and they make it to Mount Moon, where they help a group of Cleffa, Clefairy, and Clefable from being taken by Team Rocket. And at the end of it, well, pour one out for you Misty fans, because she leaves the group, and we will not see her again for a long time.
Numero uno, Articuno!
Okay, so again, technically we're at a point where the Japanese version and the dub kind of differ, because now, technically, we are at the start of the Battle Frontier arc, if you're going by the Japanese version, as this is when it changes its opening, which as we all know, that's when a new arc starts in an anime. But we're watching the dub, and according to that, we are still in advanced battle, technically. But trust me, when we get to the Battle Frontier in the dub, you'll know. Anyway, Ash and friends arrive at the Battle Factory, and the head, Nolan, owns an Articuno. Wow. And he says Ash can choose any of his Pokemon to battle, and of course he chooses the Legendary, but Ash actually makes a good decision, as he wants to fight it with Charizard. And then in the Symbol Life, we get an actually pretty cool battle between Articuno and Charizard. I mean, it's not cool enough for me to do a play-by-play for it, but whether I do or not, Ash wins, getting his first Frontier symbol. In Hooked on Onix, traveling through a valley of rock types led by an Onix, Team Rocket convinces the rock Pokemon the Torps are evil and use them to help steal the Pokemon. Of course it doesn't work out for them. In Rough, Tough, and Jigglypuff, the gang meet a guy who has spent 6 months in the woods trying to catch a Jigglypuff for his daughter's birthday. So they decide to help him. And no, this is not that Jigglypuff. Haven't seen that one in a while. This is a random wild one. In On Cloud Arcanine, and Arcanine seems to be running around some nameless town, and hot on its trails, no pun intended, is Drew, who is also in Kanto competing in contests. What's more, he already has one ribbon. May and Drew compete to see who will catch the Arcanine, but decide against it when they see it's raising a Growlithe, and Drew leaves telling May a contest is being held in Saffron City. In Sitting Psyduck, the gang run into a Psyduck that is owned by a rich girl, but yearns to do Pokemon things, like battle and make eggs, and an attack by Team Rocket convinces her to not treat it too much like a pet.
Hail to the chef!
Okay, it's been 400 episodes, so I don't know if I've said this or we've had an episode like this, but I love episodes of anime that are about cooking, or anime in general that's about them. And in this one, the gang come across a restaurant run by Rhonda and her Mr. Mime, and at the same time, Team Rocket come across a restaurant run by Rhoda and her Sneasel. Mr. Mime can make great-looking food, but it tastes awful, and Sneasel makes shit-looking food that tastes amazing. And yeah, obviously after stopping some Rocket shenanigans, the two sisters make up, having a new successful restaurant with the two Pokemon working together. I mean, yeah, I love cooking episodes, 10 out of 10. In Caterpie's Big Dilemma, Caterpie becomes dummy thick. In the Saffron Con, arriving in Saffron City, May goes to the Pokemon Center to get her Pokemon checked up before the contest, and Nurse Joy has been getting help from Harley, who's also in Kanto. And again, he manages to trick May, this time into thinking that the time to register is later than the actual deadline, but luckily she can enter anyway after stopping a Team Rocket plot to steal all the coordinator's Pokemon. And look, May, I like you, but you're gonna start losing points from me fast if you just keep falling for Harley's tricks, like, think, girl. In a hurdle for Squirtle, May, Harley, and Jessie, disguised as Jessabella, enter the contest, and all three pass the first round. After Harley beats Jessie, it's May versus Harley once again, and she uses her new Squirtle, who has trouble in his first contest, but it manages to get the dub, getting May her first Kanto ribbon. Oh, also, yes, haha, we're at episode 420. Look, if I wasn't as tired and we weren't even halfway through this by now, I'd make a bigger deal about it, but I gotta keep this moving, okay?
Pasta la vista! Your customers are not as important as your family, Kyle, and you're just gonna have to make a choice between the two.
Fine, I already made that choice and it's noodles.
You don't know, man, that line caught me so off guard. I was so tired at this point, I just laughed my ass off. Like, I just wasn't expecting something so deep. So I don't really want to talk about the episode itself. It's just a family feud about noodles and fighting Pokemon. That's cool and fun. The important thing is... this is the last episode dubbed by 4Kids. Now, like I've said before, 4Kids voice actors are great. It wasn't that bad, you heathens. And honestly, after listening to them for the past several months watching the show, I'm kind of going to miss them. So now we say goodbye to Veronica Taylor as Ash and May, Eric Stewart as Brock and James, Rachel Lillis as Jessie, and Maddie Bloston, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, as Meowth. And Amy Burbaum, again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, as Max, who again, I hate the character, but the voice actor did a good job. And of course, all the other various VOs for all the Pokemon and one-off characters that I can't really list realistically in this video, just look them up on the wiki. Because by this point, Pokemon was doing so well, Pokemon decided, why don't we just do it? So now every series of Pokemon will be dubbed in-house with the official Pokemon company dubbing voice actors. Now, if you have watched the seasons past this one, then you'll be recognize these voices easily. But for those who have only maybe seen the original series, buckle up.
Fear Factor phony!
Okay, so I didn't realize the mic on my camera was off the whole time. Thankfully, I was also recording a separate audio source, so hopefully I didn't fuck all of that up and I have to re-record it. If I did, and I looked different, that's why. If not, then completely disregard this message. But hey, I guess it's appropriate since I fucked up my voiceover, as now we can hear professional voiceover with the new dubcast of the Pokemon series. God damn it. Alright, but first let's talk about the new theme song. It sucks.
Pokemon! It's a battle, win or lose. It's the friends you make, it's the road you choose.
Now, I don't know anything about music, but doesn't the singer sound like just, I don't know, a bit off key to anyone else?
Be the best you can be and find your destiny. It's the master plan.
Alright, so before the obvious, let's talk about the actual episode. The group come to an abandoned mining town where a group of psychic Pokemon and their partying is disturbing all the ghost Pokemon. Okay, you don't care about that. So, the new dubcast obviously will take some getting used to, right? Especially for me since I have been with the original 4Kids for the last several months of my life. I mean, they're all I know. So now we have Sarah Natochenny voicing Ash, Michelle Knotts as May and Jessie, Bill Rogers as Brock, Billy Beach dual-wielding James and Meowth, and Jamie Peacock as Wobbuffet. And the other one. Also, for some reason, the TPCI decided to get rid of the eye catches, you know, things like the Trainer's Choice, which makes no sense to me. Those were goated. Why did you get rid of those? I mean, at the end of the day, though, when it comes to me watching all these episodes back to back, I'll get used to the voices. What matters is that these episodes are still being written and produced by the same people, so not much is probably going to change for me. Hi, it's me from the future. I know I look like shit. I'm not exactly worried about my appearance while editing. I'm just putting this in here because I can't believe I was stupid enough to not mention the fact about the ending that this season now has. So the ending song to every season has just been like a shortened version of the Pokemon theme song of that season, you know, so I never really brought it up. But for this one, they decided to do a rap, not a Poke rap. It's just a straight up rap song that plays at the end of every episode.
Yo, Pokemon Masters, your heart beats faster, training for the top, cause you know you can't stop.
So yeah, I had to record this to tell you about it because I can't believe I forgot to say that. Anyways, back to me.
Sweet baby James!
My ass. Munchlax and James's Chimecho are feeling sick, but luckily a nice older couple offers to help them, and it turns out that they are James's nanny and pop-pop, because, yeah, if you forgot, James was a rich boy. And to keep them pure, he hasn't told them he's in Team Rocket, so he asks the twerps to make sure not to blow his cover. But more importantly, he tries to stop Jessie and Meowth from eating all the food and trying to steal Pokemon, even going so far as to team up with Ash to stop them. That was interesting. While May's Munchlax recovers, Chimecho is too sick to travel with James, so he makes the tough decision to leave it there to recover for the sake of its health. Luckily, the Mime Jr. his Nan Pops were taken care of joins him. I mean, yeah, once again, Team Rocket just gets the most heartwarming episodes and the best episodes about leaving or releasing your Pokemon.
A chip off the old Brock!
Brock's Mudkip evolves into a Marshtomp during a training session, and its new Mudshot attack accidentally hits a nearby Flaffy and its owner Mariah. And as the title suggests, Marshtomp is more like Brock than his other Pokemon as he wants to make eggs with Flaffy, like how Brock wants to make eggs with Mariah. Cute episode, always love a Brock one. However, the reason I'm drawing attention to this is because Team Rocket has made a different change besides their voices, as they have now changed their motto. I'm sure you all know the original, protect the world from devastation and all that, but in between series they will start switching it up on what they say and how they say it. Now, I personally like the new one more, especially the lines, evil as old as the galaxy, sent here to fulfill our destiny, and anywhere there's peace in the universe will be there to make everything worse. I mean, well, I probably like it more because for the past several months I've heard the last one for 3 to 4 times a day, so it's nice to have a change.
And evil as old as the galaxy! Sent here to fulfill our destiny.
Meow, that's me!
To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. Jessie. James.
Meow's the name!
Whenever there's peace in the universe, Team Rocket
Is there
to make everything worse.
Mine. Wheel of Frontier!
I hope you're ready for a real battle! You bet! I hope you're ready for me to win!
What the fuck? What was that real explosion that you got from like a stock video website? What? Seriously, what was that? I've never seen them do anything like that before. Anyway, Ash beats Greta the second Frontier Brain using Snorlax, and he learns the next one is near Lavender Town.
May's excellent adventure!
The gang find a farm that raises Pokemon eggs, and of course Team Rocket wants to steal them. During the usual stopping of Rocket Gang, Pikachu can't use Thunderbolt or he'll potentially damage the eggs, so with a bunch of stored electricity and quick attack, he accidentally learns to do Volt Tackle. But the episode has May in the name, and for helping save the day and helping the family's daughter discover she wants to go on a journey and become a coordinator, she's given her own Pokemon egg. In Weekend Warrior, the gang arrive in Silver Town. Why don't they just use the actual towns in Kanto? The anime also tries to give a backstory to this guy Jeremy, who May faces off against as he's a rocker and he does contests, but his wife hates it and thinks it's dumb. Look, I'll give him credit that they're actually giving this guy some backstory and putting some effort into him, besides, you know, just having May fight some rando. But at the end of the day, that's what he is, because May beats him, she gets her second ribbon, and we never see him again. Great. And on Olden Pond, at some lake, Ash fishes up a Crawdon, which is owned by the big bad tycoon who wants to turn the lake into a spa. God, do I need one of those after this. In Tactics Theatrics, Ash beats the third Frontier Brain. Look, there's only like 40 more episodes left of this, and we got the Frontier stuff and contests, plus the final ones for each, so they're nothing special, you're not missing anything, seriously. In Reversing the Charges, when an Elekid is going around zapping everyone to release excess electricity it got during a thunderstorm, it accidentally makes off with May's egg. Team Rocket try to steal Elekid and the egg, but while stopping them, Ash's Phanpy evolves into a Donphan. So remember, Pokemon is popular and has spin-off games, so why not try to advertise some in the anime? In this episode, the group meets Solana, a Pokemon Ranger, the same one from the DS game, who is at the cycling road to deal with a bunch of vines that have sprouted up due to Celebi being sick. Hey Celebi, where were you during the GS Ball stuff? Do you know how much nothing I had to go through for no payoff, all because of you? Anyway, they help Celebi and stop Team Rocket from trying to steal it. This episode, much like the game Solana comes from, is okay.
From cradle to save!
It's probably because the season is so short that there's so many episodes with things happening. But the episodes themselves are not really that interesting. Like this one, it's about the gang joining a ninja school to do the Naruto run, I guess. What's important is that at the end of it, Brock ends up catching a Bonsly, another Gen 4 Pokemon. Also, yeah, if you've been keeping track, this is the first time that Brock, the Rock-type gym leader, has caught a Rock-type Pokemon. It took him this long.
Time warp heals all wounds!
Nothing.
Another day, another story where a character from Pokemon just casually time travels. This time, May breaks the one rule that you never do with time travel, which is going back and fucking with the past. Have you never heard of the Butterfree effect, May? Or maybe it's the Beautifly effect? The Pavilion effect? When she helps two lovers stay together because the lady was preggers. It's actually a kind of sad story that I'm not doing justice, but the recap for this episode has gone on long enough. We barely are halfway through this video, and at the end, May's egg hatches into an Eevee. Hooray! That's why it's important.
Queen of the Serpentine!
So normally this would just be a standard Battle Frontier episode, but I was into it because there's actually a funny joke in it. Here, the Frontier Brain Lucy is a tough Onesan queen, and also a hot woman, so Brock goes in for the kill, and it seems she might actually be into him and be a bit softer than her outer persona would imply. But in a joke that did get a chuckle out of me, the reason she was blushing at Brock and seemed interested in him was because we see at the end that she thinks the closed eye aesthetic is cute. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And off the unbeaten path, the Twerps and Rocket Gang enter some Pokemon Stamp Rally. What? And Harley rides again. May enters the contest in Wisteria Town, and of course Harley is there too, and he already has 3 ribbons himself. The two meet up in the finals, and in an upset, Harley beats May fair and square. Yeah, he doesn't employ any dirty tactics or tricks, he straight up beats her. I kind of wish the anime made a bigger deal about it, because I think this is important, and I'm glad that Harley won one against May, because, you know, he's lost so much and his tricks and all that he was starting to become kind of a loser to me. But now we see when he puts his mind to it, he can be a strong opponent and a good coordinator in his own right. Then at the end of the episode, May gets a letter from an unknown sender and a rose that says they want to meet her at the Chrysanthemum Island contest. Could it be true? Ooh, scandalous.
On Pokemon out!
On the way to Chrysanthemum Island, going to Chrysanthemum Island, and Ash's Grovyle falls for the Nurse Joy's Meganium, fighting over it with Atropius. However, Meganium only has eyes for Tropius herself, and after Team Rocket tries to steal them, Grovyle evolves into Sceptile, but this is not a joke or something I made up, this is something that actually happens in the anime. Sceptile is so down bad from this rejection that he is unable to use moves. Like at all. This is probably the best subplot Pokemon has ever done. I'm not being sarcastic about that. In Spontaneous Combustion, May makes it to Chrysanthemum Island, and Drew is there, but he didn't send any letter. It was actually Brianna, someone who likes Drew and wants to earn his respect by beating May. She doesn't, and May gets her 3rd ribbon.
Cutting the ties that bind!
Man, I feel like it's been a while since we've got a good Ash episode that focused on him and his love for his Pokemon. When Ash and his Sceptile get lost in the forest of Beedrill, and the two have to work together without Sceptile's moves to make it out. And at the end, thanks to bonds, I guess, Sceptile gets over his down badness, reaching peak Sigma male, being able to use moves again, because he don't need no woman. And I really think this does show that Ash has gained some experience at being a trainer. I can't imagine the original Ash being this patient, you know, when his Pokemon can't learn a move. Like, he'd be understanding, but he'd probably be more like, you know, come on, why can't you do it? Things like that. And honestly, I don't think he needs to be developed anymore, you know, he's kind of gone through that, I feel. At the end of Johto, he's kind of reached the end of his arc, but that doesn't mean that the show can't have episodes like this that remind us that, yeah, he's still a pretty good guy, and he's the protagonist, and we want to keep rooting for him, you know? It's also a good chance for the new voice actor to show us some real chops, and she does a good job. Well, I mean, of course she does, she plays the character for another 17 years, so no one needs me to say that. Oh yeah, and at the end, the gang meets Spence, the next Frontier Brain, who Ash beats, and Kaboom with a view, using Sceptile and Heracross, a returning favorite. In King and Queen for a day, after Rocket stuff, Mime Jr. and Bonsly get lost and are mistaken for another Mime Jr. and Bonsly, who are stars of a TV show. In Curbing the Crimson Tide, some girl is using her Scizor to go around beating up trainers because she's sad her parents are always working. Yeah, that's an excuse to be a dick, kid. Best part of this episode is when the Twerps commandeer Team Rocket's balloon. I like that.
Kid for love!
Arriving in Gardenia Town for the next contest, the group meet Molly, a beginner coordinator, and her teacher, Yuma, and Brock tries to get in on this coordinator's lessons, so he decides to enter the contest. And it even ends up with Brock and May in the finals, but Brock's libido just wasn't strong enough and loses to May and the chance to be Yuma's student, because, yeah, you made it to the finals, idiot, why would you need to teach you? I mean, yeah, it was just a fun episode watching May and Brock compete together and seeing Brock trying to be a coordinator. It was pretty good. Probably the best episode I've seen so far in Battle Frontier. 3 Jinx and a Baby is pretty boring. It's about some Jinx trying to get their Smoochum back from Team Rocket. Whatever. In Talking a Good Game, Ash battles Annabelle of the Battle Tower, and loses. Whoa, usually when Ash loses, he goes on a long and deep training session. Nah, just kidding. He beats her in the next episode, 2nd time's the charm. Also, Annabelle, I guess, just gets a crush on Ash through this. I don't know why that's a thing, but I guess it is.
Pokémon Ranger Deoxys Crisis Part 1!
Solana returns for a 2-parter, where, as the name says, it's about Deoxys, based on the movie, based on the game. See, it's canon. Part 1 is really just set up like, whoa, there's a Deoxys going around acting crazy, and look at Solana capturing things by drawing circles, just like Pokemon Ranger, on sale now. Then at the end, it kidnaps Meowth and the other ones, so nothing of value is really lost. Then in Part 2, we find out that Deoxys came on a meteorite, as most do, and the meteor has some weird power that's making it go haywire, and Solana manages to capture it, calming it down in time for it to shield everyone from a big explosion from the meteor. Then it flies off knowing it's not alone in the world of Pokemon. The movie was better. And all that glitters is not gold. The gang come across a town hunting a golden Sudowoodo, who was turned gold by its trainer Keenan in an attempt to help with its weakness to water. Wait, you turned rock into gold? Don't fuck with that alchemy, Keenan. They made a whole anime about it. In new plot, old lot, May is at her final contest in Mulberry City, and Harley is there, but not competing because he already has 5 ribbons. But Jessie is, and Harley doesn't want to see May win, so Harley and Jessie team up to put the twerp in her place. And they fail. May moves on to the 2nd round. But they're not done messing with her and going for choke. This time they do something smart by getting Ash, Brock, Drew, and the other one in a trap far away from the contest. But it doesn't matter because they make it in time to stop them in like the next 2 minutes, okay? Jessie isn't doing too great either, as her ego is getting in the way as she complains that Harley's Pokemon aren't giving her the easy dub. Getting May said dub, qualifying her for the Kanto Grand Festival. Wow, that was fast.
The overrated switch!
So remember in the beginning when I talked about how I didn't like Team Rocket? Well, that's changed, as I think they're just getting some of the best episodes. I already love the start of it, with Team Rocket already in the middle of a Pikachu stealing plot. I like it when shows start in the middle of another story, it makes it feel like the characters aren't just waiting for the show to start for the interesting stuff to happen. After this one fails, Team Rocket goes their separate ways and end up meeting Cassidy and Botch.
It's Butch!
Whatever, with James teaming up with Cassidy and Jessie with Butch. They of course fail in the Team Rocket, and we know and I'm starting to love become friends again. If you're wondering, Meowth was just kind of dicking around during this.
Please! The idea of giving a wit about what a stuck-up little snobette likes or dislikes is insane!
You're not that bad.
Fun episode. I'm honestly looking forward to episodes that star Team Rocket now because they're either really funny or surprisingly heartwarming. Something I definitely wasn't expecting to say a few hours ago. In contrast, the episodes about my favorite character are mostly mid, like in Grading Spaces. When the group return to Pewter City, Brock sees his gym has been redecorated by gym decorators, who are Team Rocket in disguise. And Ash and Brock have a double battle against disguised Rockets who accidentally got some strong Pokemon that were meant for Cassidy and Biff. Also, Brock's Onix evolved into a Steelix off camera.
Battling the enemy within!
The gang come across Brandon, the secret 7th frontier brain of the Battle Pyramid, who is looking into the legend of the King of Pokelantis, which you think would be about a water Pokemon, but no, the king apparently sealed a Ho-Oh in a tomb. While exploring it, Ash gets possessed by the spirit of the king, and Brandon battles him to free him. Ash getting possessed doesn't win him any favors from Brandon, as he thinks Ash is a reckless loser now, but Ash still wants to battle him, but Brandon is busy. And it flies? Okay. Also, I don't know why, but the concept of a character getting possessed by an ancient king and forced to fight in a life-or-death battle just gave me vibes from another anime I really need to stop bringing up in this.
Slacking calm!
This episode is okay. The gang see a group of Apom who are stealing things to appease their great monkey overlord, a giant Slacking. The important thing is that one of the Apom begins to start following Ash.
May, we hardly drewed ya!
Okay, that title's a stretch anime. The Kanto Grand Festival has begun and everyone is here. May, Drew, Harley, and Soledad. What, you don't remember Soledad? She's a coordinator from Pewter City? Everyone knows Soledad. Like, come on, she beat Drew in his first ever contest, and even Brock and Harley know who she is. How do you not know Soledad? You act like she's some new poorly set up last boss to add unnecessary stakes by giving her some out of nowhere connection to other characters so they can explain how strong she is. Which she's not. Come on. Best part was Harley doing his performance dressed as May. Yeah, he's certainly obsessed with her. Also, Ash finds out about that Apom that's been following him. Then, in thinning the horde, Ash tries to catch that Apom, but fails. And we see that the Apom seems to be pretty interested in Pokemon contests. This will be on the test. In the second round, it's May versus Harley once again, and after the battle, May comes out the victor, making top 4, and her semifinal is against Drew. Then, in channeling the battle zone, channeling, not challenging, May for the first time gets one over on Drew, winning their match. But in the final, she's up against, oh no, it's Soledad. I know she's strong because people tell me she is. And unfortunately, May does lose to her, making Soledad the winner. Also, Ash manages to catch that Apom. But with this grand festival behind them, Ash finds out the battle pyramid is in a place called Fennel Valley for now, and heads there to face Brandon. In Apom and Circumstance, the gang come to a village that picks its king based on who has a ceremonial crown by sunset. That's fucking stupid. But Ash's new Apom gets it stuck on its head, so the group have to get it off of him, or this town will have a monkey as a king. I mean, he'd be better than most leaders. There, I mean, the obvious political joke. Are you happy? In Strategy Tomorrow, Comedy Tonight, the group help a girl who uses her Chatot in a comedy routine figure out why it's always flying away. And it's because the Chatot visits a hospital filled with sick kids to cheer them up. Well, that's something I was not expecting. In Duels of the Jungle, the group help a Weavile take its place back as leader of a Weavile tribe.
Overjoyed!
So while I've said I've enjoyed the episodes about the more eccentric Officer Jennies, same can be said for the Nurse Joys. They've been fine, they just haven't gotten me the same way. This one, though, I've liked a lot. As the gang arrive in Fennel Valley, Ash finds out Brandon won't be back until tomorrow, so the gang take a rest at the Pokemon Center. There we find out the Nurse Joy, while her job is healing Pokemon, she also likes putting them in body bags, as she's a huge battle freak, and I love it. I like her and her Chansey's demeanor changes when they take off their nurses' hats, that's funny. Sadly, that's only in the first half, as the last half is Ash fighting Brandon for the first official battle. And even though Ash does the smart thing of getting his Torkoal to fight Brandon's Registeel, Ash loses and will have to train to fight Brandon later as he leaves to go catch a certain Pokemon.
The unbeatable lightness of seeing!
Now this episode is mostly set up for the future, as guess what, we only have 5 more episodes left of the advanced season. Ash, after his loss, is trying to figure out how to beat Brandon, and Oak arrives with a care package for him, filled with a poster of prints from all of his Pokemon, food from his mom, a very humble lore from Misty, and a postcard from Gary, who tells Ash that he's currently journeying through the Sinnoh region. Then Drew shows up, kinda out of nowhere, and has a double battle against May, who's also in a funk after her second place, during which Harley also shows up. Drew wins, but this somehow helps May, I guess, I don't know, many problems are solved in the Pokemon world through battles, it just kinda happens. Afterward, Drew says he's going to the Johto region to compete in contests there, and Harley and Giga Soledad are going too. So May has some thinking to do, while Ash prepares for his rematch. In pinch healing, after Nurse Joy gets sick, the group have to help take care of some Pokemon that were involved in a bus crash that was inadvertently caused by Team Rocket. At the end, Ash learns Brandon has returned, having caught the Pokemon that he wanted, and is ready for the rematch.
Gathering the gang of 4!
Whatever Ash's plan for Brandon is, it involves his original starters as he gets the gang back together, Bulbasaur, Squirtle temporarily, and Charizard temporarily, as he takes them and Pikachu into the woods to train. After that, he's ready for the battle, and Scott, who has been there every Frontier battle, I don't think I mentioned that, says the winner of the Battle Frontier becomes candidates for Frontier Brains, but Ash doesn't care about that now and is focused on winning, which does not start off well as Ash's Charizard, one of his strongest Pokemon, gets knocked out in the first round. So with one of his strongest knocked out so early, it's going to be tough.
Pace, the final frontier!
The battle continues, and Bulbasaur and Squirtle do their best, but are eventually knocked out. So it comes down to Pikachu and the new Pokemon Brandon caught, a Regice. And after a kinda good battle, Pikachu takes out Regice and Ash wins the Battle Frontier. And he's immediately offered to be a Frontier Brain, but he turns it down since he wants to continue traveling. As Ash's starters all go back to their respective homes, it's time to wrap up a season.
Once more with reeling!
The group arrive in Terracotta Town, where May and the other one will take a boat back to Hoenn. While waiting, they find out the town is holding an unofficial contest for fun, and May enters it, as well as Ash, to everyone's surprise, as he wanted to try one after seeing May do them for so long. And he does a pretty good job, with him and May making their way to eventually face each other in the finals. And then during a rest, the Rockets try to rocket, but during this, May's combustion evolves into Blaziken. And then it's Ash with Sceptile versus May with Blaziken, and the two trade blows, and at the end of the episode, well, it's left for the season finale to figure out who won.
Home is where the start is.
It's revealed Blaziken and Sceptile took each other out, so May and Ash technically both won, and the two decide to split the ribbon as a symbol of friendship. May then announces she too is headed for Johto to compete, but understandably doesn't want the other one to come with her this time. Smartest decision you've ever made, May. Afterward, May and Fine, I'll call him by his name, Max, leave for Hoenn, saying their final goodbyes. Brock then decides to go back home to Pewter, and I'm sure we'll never see him again. And Ash returns home to Pallet, where he sees Team Rocket try to catch a Pokemon called Electivire that no one has ever seen before. This Electivire turns out to be Gary's, who is back, and while Ash challenges him to a battle, Gary just wants to go home, and Ash does as well. Later on though, after Ash gives his frontier symbols to his mom for safekeeping, him and Gary do battle, and his Electivire manages to beat Pikachu. Gary then says he's decided to head back to Sinnoh region for now, and after seeing a strong Pokemon from there, Ash decides to head there as well. And like with Hoenn, he leaves with just Pikachu by his side. However, it turns out that Ash's Apom has stuck on board the boat to Sinnoh, so fuck it, to new adventures. So that's the end of Ruby and Sapphire, or Advanced, whatever you want to call it. Overall, it was decent, I guess. More happened since we got new characters with May and Max. You know, they had to introduce a lot of stuff, especially at the beginning. And yes, I still hate Max, but I loved May. Seeing her go from some irresponsible person who only used the journey as an excuse to travel and not really even liking Pokemon, turn into a formidable coordinator with a dream. It was a pretty decent trainer. I liked that arc. I didn't really care for the Battle Frontier arc, though. It felt really unnecessary, and like Orange Islands felt like filler and kind of rushed with how easily May got the ribbons and Ash won the Frontier symbols, besides the last one. I mean, nothing really spectacular happened in it, but overall I thought it was a pretty good season that helped advance Pokemon a bit further by adding more, development and more interesting things happening. You can tell they're really integrating actual stories into it rather than just episodes to entertain just to entertain, But hey, we got many more seasons to go as we move on to Generation 4 with Pokemon the series Diamond and Pearl.
And if we